Hey everyone! Today we're going wide and deep. What started as an attempt to figure out what's been happening with the stagnating performance of my flat algorithms turned into a whole overarching piece on strategies and their relationships. To set the context, we'll start with Show Me the Money. This is my current dashboard. The day prior to recording and this day so far have been completely inconsequential. They might as well just be zero, and they have not been included in the spreadsheet reports yet. Granted, not a lot of time has passed since the last report, but I'm up only 28 USDT. And there have been very few trades in general. No trades on high Bitcoin at all. And the holding pattern for natural selection still continues. To get a feeling of what's going on, I went to my data gathering reports. So since these serve as basis for natural selection, I thought it could help me see whether something is wrong with the implementation or with the market in general. Actually, one more benefit of having continuous data gathering is that it can be used as a sort of a thermometer or a barometer for the weather on the market. First, I went with the easy metric. I simply looked at the trend for the weekly number of trades on flat Bitcoin. Ostensibly, the more trades I have, the better the data quality is supposed to be. Just this one thing was quite revealing. The most recent 3 full weeks have had pretty much the lowest number of trades overall across the last 3 months. There was only 1 week worse than that, while week 1 of 2024 was an absolute beast. And remember, this is not including any high Bitcoin volatility trades. The next logical step was to look at the quality of this diminishing number of trades, meaning how many coins are good enough to be included in my whitelist. Here is another graph which shows for each distance how many coins could be whitelisted each week. Starting with week 2 of 2024, it is obvious that the number of good coins has been rapidly declining for all distances, hitting an all-time low during week 3. In week 4, only 0.8 seems to have picked back up, while the other distances are pretty much down in the dumps. What am I gonna do with 9 coins at the distance of 1.1? That's not enough to fill even one group of natural selection algos. And the highest distances show only 1 good coin each. No wonder my recent algos at the distance of 2 have been doing so badly. Here are the same 2 graphs, simplified and put together. The total number of trades is in blue, and the total for whitelist selections is in orange. The trend here does not leave too much hope for serious profits. Both the size of the dataset and the quality of selections are on a sharp decline. It seems that the current market is not really conducive to this particular strategy. Nor is it any good for my specific high Bitcoin strategy. In the last 2 weeks, I've only had 5 trades with high volatility strategy. Nothing, and I really mean nothing, that I have set up is working anymore. What now? First, I wanted to see how these strategies worked together when they actually did work. Here I have a comparative table. These 2 columns are for each strategy in isolation over the total period each of them has been running. And on the right, I have the data only for the period where both of them had been running, which is 33 days long. Note that prior to that, all of my P&L came from high Bitcoin, so I was reliant only on one single strategy. Now let's see. Of the 33 days, the natural selection strategy was active every single day, whereas the high Bitcoin had any trades whatsoever only on half of the days. Combined, of course, every day was active. In terms of P&L, the split is now 30 to 70%. Now I've got 2 legs to stand on instead of just one. Individual ROEs are looking good, but combined we have over 200%. Again, an improvement over each individual strategy. In terms of the number of trades and trading volume, the flat strategy is far ahead, 1.7 million versus just 0.8 million. The efficiency of that volume, of course, is higher on high Bitcoin, but volume itself is also an important aspect. Firstly, in your relationship with the exchange, and secondly, it is an indirect indicator of opportunities. During this period, the opportunities were much more abundant on the flat market. Bitcoin was not active enough on 17 out of 33 days. So there was zero opportunities for my specific high Bitcoin setup half of the time. In terms of overall volume, natural selection achieved almost the same number in 33 days as high Bitcoin did in 71 days. Now we come to the most interesting bit. Do these strategies actually support each other? So during the concurrent run, the flat strategy was profitable on 70% of the days, 23 out of 33. The high Bitcoin strategy was profitable on 81.3% of active days, 13 out of 16. But put together, they were profitable on 81.8% of the days, 27 out of 33. So the combined metric is yet again an improvement over each individual strategy. And here is the measure of how exactly they supported each other. The flat strategy was able to compensate for the losses of high Bitcoin on 3 separate days. The high Bitcoin, on the other hand, did the same on 4 separate days. Thus, we have only 6 losing days overall out of 33. Take a look. Here is where high Bitcoin saved the day, literally, and here is where natural selection did the same. And there hasn't actually been a single day where both strategies were losing. Either both were profitable, or at least one of them was at profit or at zero. A line graph might make it more visually clear. Here, because of this huge one day, the pattern is a bit hard to see, so let's cut the top off. Look at that! It seems that more often than not, the two strategies are out of phase. When this one is down, this one picks up the slack. And again here, and here, and here. This is pretty eye-opening if you ask me. What does this all mean then? Well, while doing this analysis, it suddenly dawned on me that I actually, in fact, have two specific strategies. When I was just starting out, I thought I had a strategy. Now I know what it was. It was called create algos that make money. And if they don't, force them to do so. That's it. I mean, seriously, look back at the old videos. The whole approach was, start with these random settings. If it does not make money, change the settings. Okay, now it seems fine. Okay, now again it's not making any money. Change the settings again. I was fumbling around for something that was supposed to work all the time or most of the time. If only I could find the perfect stop loss, or a perfect distance, or a whitelist, then I'd all be set. Only when I split my algos into two large categories did it start working and making any sense. Each category has its specific job. When Bitcoin is volatile, flat algos go to sleep. They are not trying to make money. They know that it's not the right time for their specific design. And vice versa. When the market is flat, high volatility algos go to sleep. I was looking for a good metaphor to describe this. The obvious one is a chair that has to have at least 3 legs to keep stable and serve its purpose in a reliable way. My chair only has 2 legs so far. But I think I found a better one. Let's say that the market is like the weather. It's just there. You can't control it, unless you're God or heavy-hitting market maker. Us regular people have to make do with what we've been served, and adjust our ways to the patterns of that which is beyond us. So, if you wanted to make energy based on the weather, you might build a solar panel farm. But what if there isn't much sun for a while? Well, you could go and build a wind farm next to it. Now you've got 2 distinct conditions covered. You could also go hydroelectric and wait for some heavy rainfall to improve your energy output. That's 3. Well, you could always go nuclear and forget about the weather, but that's beside the point. This metaphor can only go so far. I know you get the idea. My two strategies are very distinct and do not overlap at all. Up until recently, the conditions on the market had been favorable to both. Now we are at a point where both stopped working. I could try and force them to work, or I could try to create something completely new and distinct enough from the rest that caters to the current climate. And while it is working, the other two strategies go to sleep until such time where they are suitable again. And much like we've seen on the graph, the three could potentially support and compensate for each other. And in terms of day-to-day work, this approach, with many distinct strategies, seems quite different from the one where you try and force one setup to work all the time. It's more like continuously monitoring, managing, and doing the necessary adjustments, much like doing maintenance on your solar panels or wind turbines. Meanwhile, you could go and work on something else that covers other bases. As long as the strategies are different enough, you could expect the waves on the graph to overlap more and more in your favor. What will that be in my case? I don't know yet. I could split the existing strategies into more distinct sub-strategies. For example, my current data gathering setup, despite not having any hard filters, is still looking very narrowly at the market through the lens of fixed take profit of 0.2 and fixed stop loss of 0.5. Maybe at larger distances, these could be adjusted or made variable using trailing stop or auto price down. Maybe I could split the high volatility range into smaller subsets and find more optimal distances for each one. Or maybe I could finally figure out what's different at different 24-hour volumes. Maybe I could create custom algos for a specific coin that gets extremely active during a given day and then shut them off once the coin has settled. Maybe I could diversify into depth shots and averages. Well, there's so much to try, and I'm not completely sure where to start yet, but this is definitely the way I'm choosing to go. So, what have we learned today? I think I'll leave you with just one big point. Sometimes a Swiss Army knife approach is not desirable, nor is it even possible. A combination of specific tools for specific jobs is likely more effective overall. If one tool stops working, it is not the time to force it to work or throw it away. Just pull out a different one that is more suitable for the job. I'm sure you all have different knives at home, right? Like a bread knife, a paring knife, a chef's knife, or a steak knife. And each one is designed and used for a specific job. So why not do the same with trading algorithms? Boy, am I full of metaphors today. I better wrap this up. I hope you found this useful. You all have a great day, and I will see you next time.